Filing of public documents can now be better achieved with the passing of the Electronic Filing Bill 2015. The bill, which was brought before Parliament by Minister with responsibility for Information and Technology, Senator Camillo Gonsalves, aims to facilitate e-governance, where public forms can be completed online. Senator Gonsalves says this is his government's way of ensuring that the filing process or the search for documents is apace in the various government departments.
Is almost sort of an administrative housekeeping bill where the law requires that various documents be filed in writing. We now provide that the law may accept those written forms in an electronic format. And where the law requires that documents be stored for record-keeping purposes, that the law will now accept electronic storage of those documents that hitherto had to be stored in the big files that I'm sure many members are familiar with, that populate the public service. We are hoping that this bill would facilitate the move to e-governance, so that members of the public will be able to file forms and make applications online, and that a great deal of their information and the information related to the business of government could be stored electronically rather than in paper.
While acknowledging that the Electronic Transaction Bill of 2015 is needed to enhance areas such as e-commerce, Opposition Senator Vynette Frederick is highly critical of the government's move to pass bills as it pertains to technological advancement. Referring to the government's moves in this area as notoriously slow, Senator Frederick says over the years the government has petitioned other bills, such as the Repeal Electronic Transaction Act of 2007, which she said took time and money to formulate but was never realized.
Here we are, in an environment where historically the government was notoriously slow to bring to the Parliament incentive legislation for technology businesses. Before I came to Parliament, I'm told that it took 6 years, not until 2006, was that legislation brought to the Parliament. What is bothersome about that is that in 2007 we had the suite, which is referred to, I think it included the telecommunications spectrum management regulations, again, never passed. I don't know if this was ever debated. I'm guided. I would need to hear from those who were here before me. The Telecommunications Confidentiality Networks and Services Regulations. And you see, at a time like this, these things were debated, created, money spent, work done to put us in this position since 2007 and before.
Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar says the Electronic Transaction Bill is necessary for economic growth and development. He states that the government has facilitated technological advancement with broadband internet in schools and laptops for students compared to the scarcity of computers when he was a student. He says while the process may appear slow at times, the passing of legislation to facilitate technological development must be done with careful detail.
And also, the state machinery depends heavily on the computer and the technology as it pertains with its interaction, not only between ministries, but between governments and organizations and ministries outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The law has to be responsive to this very important change. And what we are seeing here today, Mr. Speaker, is the responsiveness of the jurisprudence, taking into consideration the changes in technology. The law has to change accordingly.
Opposition Senator Dr. Linton Lewis expressed concern over what he says are the hefty fines imposed on persons who are caught breaking the law as it relates to the newly passed Electronic Transaction Bill.
$1,000 and $500,000 and $50,000, I think they could have been justifiable. $20,000 or $40,000 from Section 30 on. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, but I find them to be very harsh and very high. Very harsh and very high. Mr. Speaker, and I don't know, because sometimes, you know, the philosophy behind the fact that the punishment should fit the crime was that if someone believes that the punishment is going to be harsh for slapping you, to knock you out. So rather than giving you a slap and getting this great punishment, he'll knock you down.
The opposition senator also conveyed his unease with the penalties for third parties, such as the business facilitators, where illegal online transactions are taking place. He says sometimes these parties may not be knowledgeable of their unlawful dealings, but are caught in the web of being penalized.
Knowledge of the law, or no knowledge of the law, is the excuse. But sometimes, Mr. Speaker, people wouldn't know what is tortious and what isn't tortious. And sometimes they wouldn't even know when information amounts to a crime. But they will suffer the penalty if it is discovered later on by someone who knows the laws that they did not report certain transactions. Because the transactions here are not supposed to be suspicious. The intermediary should know. If he doesn't or she doesn't report it, she will be penalized or he will be penalized.
Dismissing the concerns of Dr. Lewis, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the debate by the opposition is impeding the inevitable progress of e-commerce, which he says would increase job creation.
But to commence e-commerce activity, because e-commerce activities are going on right now as we speak without this bill. This bill has certain specific purposes, and to create uniformities and therefore for us to have certain predictabilities and a better regulatory framework. This bill does not come with a blank sheet.
Tomorrow, May 1st, marks the beginning of Child's Month 2015, which will be celebrated under the theme Nutrition and Play, Healthy Children Today. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment and the Ministry of Agriculture joined with the Ministry of Education to begin the celebration of Child's Month with a special event at the National Public Library. Chief Education Officer Gilchrist, who delivered remarks on behalf of the Minister of Education, Gerlin McGill, says it's a blessing for any society to be able to see children grow into healthy, successful adults.
Over 50% of the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is under the age of 40. Young people in whose hands lies the future of this country. However, in order for continuity to occur, we must put measures in place that will ensure that this happens. Further, there are several aspects of the curriculum where we teach you not just why you should eat healthily, but how to eat healthily. We are simply trying to guide you into eating healthy foods because we know that unhealthy eating has negative long-term effects. A word to our parents. Most of you have given children the choice of deciding what they want to eat rather than you, the parents, determining or showing the children what is healthy for them.
And that should be Chief Agricultural Officer Ashley Caine says to ensure a bright future for this country, Vincentians must ensure that children live healthy lives.
Because so many things are shaped in our youthful days, especially eating habits and the way we take care of ourselves. The concern I have is that the habits which we pick up as young children stay with us for life. And if we are not careful and if we do not invest properly in ensuring that our children develop good eating habits, then we will be worse off as a country for it.
Chief Nutritionist in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Andrea Robin, says because children undergo a period of rapid growth, a timely provision of the right nutrients is critical.
I just want to share with you, their growth is not only physical, but mental and emotional. And during this, to make this happen, their need for energy and nutrients is high. I can give you a long lecture on nutrition, but I won't this morning. But whatever their need is, whatever their nutritional need, it must be met from, I want to say two things, high quality food and in a timely manner. When a child is growing and the brain needs nutrients for formation, you can't wait until tomorrow to provide those nutrients. You cannot wait until another week to provide those nutrients. Timely provision is critical for early childhood. So their development agenda cannot wait. Children need adequate protein from animal and plant foods to provide for their muscle and tissue growth and repair.
Meanwhile, the chief nutritionist says the failure to meet children's nutritional needs could result in them being unable to achieve their physical and mental potential.
Failure to meet children's energy needs and nutrient needs from high-quality diets, featuring a balanced variety of foods from the 6 food groups, can result in children who suffer from nutritional deficiencies. Thankfully, we do not have much of that in St. Vincent of the Grenadines, but it is still occurring in pockets throughout our country. Children who are lethargic, tired, and listless, they can hardly move. Children who are anemic, suffering from low blood, as we say, unable to focus, listen, or learn. Children who are vulnerable to infections of every kind, especially common cold and flu, air infections. This does happen. Children who are vulnerable to disorders of their eyes, muscles, and bones, can't see as well as they should, can't move as well as they should. And children who are wasted and stunted with poor overall growth are not able to achieve their physical and mental potential.
Furthermore, Robin says that the citizens of SVG are blessed with numerous fruit trees that are high in good nutrients. However, some parents refuse to appreciate this or give them to their children as substitutes for unhealthy snacks, which she says is why there are increasing cases of non-communicable diseases present in the country.
There are so many other fruits in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that are superfoods. We are blessed in that regard, but we hold them in low regard. So, what is the outcome? Dental caries, or better known as cavities, bad teeth, overweight and obesity in our children, and lack of fitness, and a increasing risk of developing the chronic non-communicable diseases that we thought only adults could have. We now have children with diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and kidney disease related to poor health and nutrition. Throughout their lifetime, children need regular activity, physical activity.
As part of its 34th anniversary celebrations, the Green Hill Sports and Cultural Club Incorporated recently held a community discussion on crime and violence plaguing the area. The discussion was held at the Evangelical Church in Green Hill, and retired technical education teacher Winston says among the problems confronting the community is predial larceny. Knight said it is essential that discussions are held to come up with measures to help mitigate this problem and other criminal activities in the community.
With young people, with people generally, and it starts young, it doesn't start old, like much other things, you need a desire. You need 3 things to be stealing. You need a desire, an opportunity, and a skill. If you have the desire, it comes from bad parenting sometimes, or as we say, bad company. And sometimes, remember, criminals behave sometimes as if there's a special place in Timbuktu where criminals are born bred, and then let loose to the world. A criminal can born in your house. Now, proper parenting and of course assisting the teachers in the school, because so many times you hear people talking about me, if anyone hit my picnic, if anyone go to school and then teacher they come and hit my picnic. pure foolishness. Pure foolishness. What you need to do is to discuss with the teacher and come to some understanding as to how your child should be brought up and who should be bringing up your child.
Knights further states that the opportunities for persons to commit crimes need to be reduced.
We leave house doors open. We are very careless people, you know, because we are so accustomed to this laid-back attitude that nobody will come in the place and that kind of thing. Now we are realizing it is happening too often where you leave your house open and people are coming into it. As a matter of fact, sometimes I leave my house door open. If you go right now, it's not open. But I'll tell you something. If I go home now and somebody break my house, the front door open, they can just come pull it open, but they will go in the back and break a window. Now you don't expect to leave the door. But you do not provide opportunity and temptation for people. And then of course you have the skill. Well, of course, you know, thieves have their own skill. I was never a thief, so I don't know what skills they will have.
Meanwhile, Superintendent of Police Ruth Jacobs condemned the acts of predial larceny and urged the Greenhill residents not to support or purchase goods that are known to be stolen.
Whenever my hard-working people in this community go to the mountain and plant the produce, and persons who do not want to go and walk, go and read them before them, I take that very personal and it hurt me very much because I don't like that. I see the people go to the mountains early in the morning and I see the people work hard, women and men, and it is not fair, it is unfair for after the people work so hard and plant the produce, persons who don't work and don't want to work go and read them and they sell them for next to nothing in the market. I have a problem with that, and I'm asking you, whoever, if there is anyone here who knows anyone who is doing that, to speak to them and do not buy it. Do not encourage them in it. That is wrong.
The event also saw Superintendent Jacobs and Commissioner of Police Michael Charles being recognized by the Greenhill Club for their contribution to the development of Greenhill and also for their achievements in the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Taryn Prince and Bradley Huggins, both residents of Edinburgh, have been arrested and jointly charged for causing grievous bodily harm to Samuel Matthews of the same address on April 26th. They have also been indicted on a charge of stealing $30 from the victim on the said date. Both accused appeared at the serious offences court this morning and were not allowed to plead to the indictable charges. Court prosecutor Adolphus Delplash objected to their bail, stating that the victim is presently at the Milton CATO Memorial Hospital at the male surgical ward, suffering from second and third degree burns about his body. He stated that doctors described the victim's condition as critical. The accused men were remanded into custody for 1 week when their bail will be reviewed. In other court news, Andrew Roberts, a 20-year-old unemployed man of Otley Hall, who told the police that he had a .38 special revolver loaded with 5 rounds of ammunition due to the fact that he is being violated by persons in the area, has been sentenced to 4 years behind bars. His arrest stemmed from a warrant that was executed at his Otley Hall home yesterday by the officers of the Major Crime Unit. CEO of the Carnival Development Corporation, the CDC, Ashford Wood, is encouraging everyone to come out on Saturday evening to enjoy the floats as they make their way to Carnival City Victoria Park from Heritage Square for the official launch of Vincimas 2015. The floats, which will showcase those who have contributed to the development of Vincimas over the years, are an added innovation for this year's launching event.
You see, when the train starts to move from Heritage Square to Victoria Park, we know Vincentians love to party, they love to jump up. But what we're asking them to do is to stand by the side and view and enjoy what is coming down back street. What we have put together really is a combination of all the components of Carnival. You have mass, you have pan, you have calypso, you have old mass, you have Monday band, you have our contestants. And we want to really showcase them. Okay? So we know folks will be coming from Leeward. The Chucks might be in from Leeward and Winwood. And we know the people come down partying. But at least allow the persons who are in that train to be showcased to the general public.